Mom, you ordered a burger for Sarah too, right?
Of course I did.
You say that, but you're not playing favorites by getting us premium burgers and giving her just a regular one, are you?
Everyone's getting a premium burger.
Hey, Kevin. On New Year's, my mother-in-law, Mary, spent her pension to treat us to burgers. But without even looking at the food, Kevin started snapping at her. I tried to pull at his sleeve to stop him, but he wouldn't even look my way. It's always like this. Kevin automatically assumes my mother-in-law is mistreating me and starts accusing her, even though nothing like that is happening. Mary, looking hurt, insists she didn't do anything, making me feel incredibly uncomfortable. Meanwhile, our kids just glance at the TV, wearing expressions that say, "Dad's talking nonsense again." Why did I ever marry such a stubborn man? No matter how many times I regret it, there's no real harm or justifiable reason for divorce, so I just have to deal with it. At the exact same moment I let out a sigh, Mary does too. Honestly, I get along with her better than I do with Kevin at this point. It's almost funny. But even then, I never imagined he would go on to do something truly outrageous. Sarah. For my 50th birthday, my son and daughter chipped in to buy me a coffee maker, and now I wake up excited every morning. I've always dreamed of starting my day with a strong cafe au lait made from an espresso machine, just like at a cafe. But Kevin doesn't drink coffee, and he always said it was an unnecessary luxury, so I had given up on the idea. Then, now that my kids are working adults, they told me, "Mom, it's time for you to enjoy life too," and pooled their money to get it for me. With their kindness added to the mix, it's easily one of the top 10 best gifts of my life. I feel lucky to have such sweet children, but Kevin, well, he's another story.
What's that? Did you win it in a contest or something?
That's what he said, completely serious, when he saw the coffee maker my kids had carefully chosen and given me on my birthday. It's for my birthday.
Huh? But my birthday's next month.
Exactly. Today is my birthday. At my deadpan response, Kevin's face visibly tensed.
Just kidding. Like I'd forget my beloved wife's birthday. How weird though, I swear my present was supposed to arrive today too.
He pulled out his phone and pretended to check something before quickly scurrying off to our bedroom. He was definitely about to place an order right now. Most likely, he'd pick whatever bouquet with sweets had the best reviews on Amazon. Even though I've told him I can't have fresh flowers because of my allergies, there's no way he remembers. Every year, he forgets my birthday, then rush orders something I don't even like and hands it to me with a smug face, as if saying, "I got you something fancy, so be grateful." Kevin is the kind of person who's hyper-aware of trends and public opinion, but completely oblivious to the people closest to him. It's not that he likes or dislikes me. He just assumes that whatever's popular must be something my family likes too. When our kids were little, he once waited in line from the crack of dawn on a release day to buy them a set of trading cards, just because they were a huge craze. But the kids had zero interest in them and just tilted their heads, wondering why their dad even got them. Or when they wanted to try making a fire on a camping trip, Kevin insisted on taking us to some big-name theme park instead because everyone loves it. And when neither the kids nor I reacted enthusiastically to these things, he would get angry and say, "I spent all this money and time on you." Some people say, well, at least he's trying to make his family happy, even if he's a bit off, but this has been going on for over 20 years. Even a dog or cat would they learn by now. If we were just dating, I might have broken up with him, but it's not quite bad enough to justify divorce. So year after year, the stress keeps slowly piling up. And Kevin's misguided assumptions don't stop there. In early December, when the whole town was decked out for Christmas,
I'm going to my mom's alone again for New Year's.
Kevin puffed out his chest and declared this proudly over dinner. He was clearly waiting for praise. There was nothing to praise, of course, but as always, I just nodded. Thanks, I'll enjoy a relaxing time at my own parents' house then. Satisfied with my words, Kevin chugged his beer. Ever since my father-in-law passed, my mother-in-law, Mary, has been living alone. But according to Kevin, she never liked me and has been mistreating me since the beginning. To protect me from this terrible mother-in-law, he's been acting as my shield, and for the past 10 years, Mary and I have had no contact. Kevin alone visits her for New Year's and summer holidays. A devoted husband, selflessly standing up for his wife. At least, that's what Kevin believes. The truth is, there's no actual conflict between Mary and me. Okay, there was some tension in the past, but it was all caused by Kevin in the first place.
Back in the day, daughters-in-law and mothers-in-law were supposed to be at odds, and men naturally took their mother's side. But these days, men who defend their wives are seen as more admirable.
Kevin, ever obsessed with trends and appearances, latched onto this idea and started scrutinizing every little thing between Mary and me, looking for drama. There was no way Kevin could correctly read other people's emotions.
This chicken soup tastes different from Mom's.
Maybe Mary and I prepare the broth differently. When Kevin asked with a puzzled look, I answered casually. But that very night, he went to Mary and told her this.
Sarah says your chicken soup broth is awful. Maybe you should learn from her.
Then, during another visit to his parents' house, if there were fewer forks than people at the table, he'd start shouting.
You're trying to keep Sarah from eating, aren't you?
Anyone with eyes could see it was just a small mistake by looking at the number of plates and bowls. But Kevin would huff and puff, as if he had just uncovered undeniable proof of mother-in-law harassment, and berate Mary. Then he'd turn to me with a smug face, like he had just saved the day, making me look like the evil, ungrateful daughter-in-law. In the early days of our marriage, this left both Mary and me feeling suspicious of each other, creating a tense and uncomfortable atmosphere. But every time Kevin accused her of something, Mary would come directly to me and ask, I heard from Kevin that you didn't like such and such. Is that true? Thanks to that, I was able to explain what I had actually said before Kevin twisted it into something else. After doing this back and forth enough times, we realized neither of us harbored any ill intentions. The real problem was Kevin. Even when I told Kevin, Mary and I don't dislike each other. I've never had a problem with her, he didn't understand. Instead, he just gave me a saintly smile and said, you don't have to pretend anymore. For 10 years, I tried to change Kevin's way of thinking, but it was pointless. Eventually, both Mary and I got fed up and decided to play along with his delusion. To him, we were a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law at odds, completely estranged. But behind the scenes, we'd meet up normally, even going on trips together. Completely unaware of any of this, Kevin proudly headed to his parents' house again this New Year's, thinking of himself as this strong husband protecting his wife from her cruel mother-in-law. Divorce timing is tricky, I thought vaguely to myself as I watched his back disappear. But this year, the 25th year of our marriage, the perfect timing finally arrived. And it all started with Kevin's sudden increase in overtime and business trips. For the past few years, Kevin had been preaching about how staying late and working overtime for free is outdated and would come straight home at the end of his shift. But now he was suddenly working late every night. And every 3 months, he would go on business trips, staying away from home for days at a time. Something was definitely off. "You've been really busy lately, huh?" I asked, my tone laced with sarcasm. Kevin's fingers stopped for a split second as he scrolled on his phone. But then, he quickly resumed and answered.
Yeah, they're opening a new office in New Orleans next year. I got chosen as part of the launch team, so things have been hectic.
Oh, that sounds tough.
Yeah, but they need me. I'll be away a lot, so you might feel a little lonely, but I'm sorry about that. Well, the kids are grown now, and you don't need help with the house or anything, right?
Right. The words flowed smoothly from Kevin's mouth. But even while pretending to be concerned for me, he never once looked up from his phone. Suspicious. Whenever Kevin acted like this, he was lying. With my suspicion nearly confirmed, I discreetly reached out to the wife of one of his colleagues. Just as I expected, there was no new office being set up in New Orleans. Kevin was still going home right on time after work. And of course, there were no business trips. He was cheating. If not 100% guilty, he was about 99.9% there. No, forget it. He was definitely guilty. He's probably seeing another woman. Lately, had started taking his phone with him even into the bathroom, whereas before had just leave it lying around the living room. He never cared about his body odor before, but now he was using fancy shampoos and body washes. And the cherry on top, the sudden influx of random gifts. Out of nowhere, he would bring home flowers or cake and hand them to me with a big grin.
Surprise.
What's going on with you? You used to forget my birthday every year.
Well, this year is our 25th anniversary. I just wanted to say thanks and let you know I love you.
This man, who forgot both our 10th and 20th anniversaries, suddenly cared about 25. I knew from experience that Kevin only bought gifts when he had a guilty conscience, not because he genuinely wanted to make me happy. So now, he was trying desperately to cover up whatever he was hiding. Love me? Don't make me laugh. Anger bubbled up inside me. But at the same time, I felt relieved. At last, I had a reason for divorce that everyone would understand. Now, how should I take him down? As I prepared dinner for a husband who may or may not come home tonight, I started running through my divorce strategy in my head. But as life often goes, things didn't play out exactly as I had planned. Or rather, I underestimated just how unhinged Kevin really was. Before I could even execute my plan, things escalated faster than I ever expected. This year, just like every other, Kevin proudly announced that he would be heading to his parents' house alone for New Year's to play the role of the good husband. Then he gave me this explanation.
I have a business trip right after New Year's, so I'll be flying straight from my mom's place to the job site.
A business trip right after New Year's? It wasn't a common scenario, so I couldn't help but voice my skepticism. Kevin must have realized he had slipped up because he immediately started rambling in a panic.
Oh, the new office is opening in April, so it's a really busy time. And I also decided to spend time with my mom until January 4th this year. She's 77, you know? Even if you don't get along with her, she's still my only mother. I just want to be a good son while she's still around.
I see. As if you're just planning to meet up with your mistress right after New Year's. I nodded as if I believed him.
You should go visit your own mom and spend some quality time with her, too.
Thinking he had successfully fooled me, Kevin let out a relieved sigh and smiled. Afterward, I called Mary to let her know I'll be visiting after New Year's again this year.
I see. I heard Kevin will be also spending the holidays at your parents' place this time. I hope he doesn't cause any trouble.
Huh? Wait, what? That was the first I had heard of that plan. Had Kevin really just told me he would be at his mother's house, while telling his mother he would be with my parents? Was he seriously planning to spend an entire week with his mistress after New Year's? If that was the case, he could have at least come up with a lie that wouldn't unravel with the slightest bit of checking. I was dumbfounded, but Kevin must have been so convinced that Mary and I hated each other that he never even considered we might still be in touch.
Sarah?
Mary looked at me curiously, waiting for my response. Why am I the one stressing over this when Kevin's the one who's guilty? As irritated as I was at the unfairness of it all, I couldn't let her find out about his affair just yet. I didn't want my plan to fall apart. I liked Mary, but she was still Kevin's mother. If she found out her son's marriage was in danger, who knew how she would react? Though I see, he's been really busy lately, so maybe he just forgot to tell me.
Oh, is that so?
I didn't like going along with Kevin's lies, so I kept my response vague.
I'm really sorry he's so inconsiderate. Oh, by the way, there's somewhere I've been wanting to take you. A new shopping mall just opened up, and they have an all-you-can-eat dessert buffet I think you'd love.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Mary, who knew way more about my tastes than my own husband, invited me out. I immediately made plans with her for January 7th, the same day Kevin had claimed he'd be on a business trip. While I was at it, I also looked up private investigators that operated during the New Year's holiday. Then, January 7th arrived. It was my shopping day with Mary, as well as the day Kevin was supposed to return from his fake trip back home and his fake business trip. I left the evidence gathering to the private investigator, and on the way to the shopping mall with Mary for the first time, I silently wished in my heart, may this finally be the end of Kevin and me. Then, after thoroughly indulging in the all-you-can-eat dessert buffet, I rubbed my overly full stomach while browsing through stylish shops. Mary found her favorite Haribo gummies and grabbed a bag to snack on in the car, carrying it happily in her hand. Then, my bag vibrated, an incoming call. I pulled out my phone and saw the name on the screen, Kevin.
Oh, it's Kevin.
Mary said, reading the screen from beside me. The clock read 2 p.m. Wasn't he supposed to be home in the evening? Is his little affair already over? Not thinking too much of it, I answered, The next thing I heard was Kevin screaming at the top of his lungs, loud enough to distort the audio.
Sarah, it's bad. Mom.
What? His panic was so extreme, it sent a wave of tension through my body.
Mom. She choked on a piece of candy and got rushed to the hospital in an ambulance.
What Mary did?
Ah,
At my reaction, nearby shoppers turned their heads toward me. Even Mary was looking up at me in shock. But I couldn't afford to care about that right now. Because Mary choked, got taken away in an ambulance. Then, what? Huh?
huh?
Mary and I locked eyes, completely frozen. You've got to be kidding me. I was totally stunned. I gently placed a hand on Mary's shoulder and led her out of the shop before switching my phone to speaker mode. Kevin, are you telling me that Mary choked on candy and had to be rushed to the hospital? As I explained the situation so far to Mary, she let out a small huh in surprise. But Kevin, caught up in his own over-the-top performance and fueled by adrenaline, didn't notice.
Yeah, I just got a call from the hospital. She's in the ICU now.
Is she okay?
I don't know. They removed the candy, but she hasn't regained consciousness.
No way. I glanced at Mary. She was staring at my phone screen, her face pale.
That's why I'm heading to the hospital now. I'm just getting back from my business trip, so I'll go straight there.
I see. I get it now. I was wondering why he'd make up something as extreme as Mary being in critical condition, but he just needed an excuse to stay away from home longer. He really doesn't want to leave his mistress, huh? I stole another glance at Mary. She looked away from my phone and locked eyes with me, silently signaling her understanding of the situation. Despite her confusion, she was staying calm and giving me the green light. I gladly took the opportunity to shake Kevin up a little. Wait, Kevin.
Huh?
I'm going to the hospital too.
What?
Kevin's panic was blatantly obvious.
No. You don't have to. Mom's treated you horribly all these years, hasn't she?
I can let all of that go. This is her life we're talking about, right?
Sarah.
Even through the phone, I could hear Kevin fumbling for words.
I appreciate the thought, but hospitals don't want too many visitors this time of year. Infection risk and all that. They're only allowing one visitor per patient.
Then I'll wait outside.
Huh? No, that's...
Why not?
Oh, well. Oh, it's snowing really hard back home. It's freezing. If you get sick, I'd feel awful.
It hasn't snowed there in over 10 years.
Mary muttered this flatly, her face devoid of emotion. The bus was about to leave. Time to wrap this up. All right, I understand. But before we hang up, I just want to see your face and make sure you're okay. I mean, even M's shaken up by this.
Oh, yeah, of course. Give me a sec. I'm at the train station, so I'll move somewhere quieter.
I heard shuffling noises through the phone as Kevin hurried around. A moment later, the call switched to video, and Kevin's face appeared, standing in front of what looked like a public restroom. Oh, good. You look better than I expected.
Right? I mean, I'm still in shock about Mom, but don't worry, I've got everything under control.
That's my Kevin. So reliable. Mary will be relieved too.
She will?
Of course. Right, Mary?
Yeah. Huh?
I slowly tilted my phone so Kevin could see my screen. On Kevin's phone screen, he now saw Mary, who was completely expressionless, staring straight into the camera like a stone-faced mask.
Oh yes, it's very reassuring to see my son staying so calm, even though I'm supposedly dying in the ICU.
What?
Hello there. I am the mother you claimed is choking on candy and fighting for her life in a hospital bed.
Mary casually pulled a pack of Haribo from her shopping bag and took a dramatic bite. Kevin's jaw dropped open like a cartoon character, his eyes widening in complete disbelief.
What? How? Huh?
Good news. Mary's miraculously regained consciousness. We'll be heading home together now, so you can come back and join us anytime you like. Oh, and bring Haley with you.
Wait. What? How do you know her name?
Crash. Kevin disappeared from the screen, replaced by an image of the ceiling as something clattered loudly. Then from somewhere in the background, an airport announcement rang out. Due to technical issues, flights from Hawaii to New York have been delayed. Oh, I see. So you were enjoying a little tropical vacation with your girlfriend, huh? And now your return flight is grounded? Well, take your time. Have as much fun as you like. We'll be waiting to have a nice, long talk when you get back.
Wait.
Kevin's wails of despair echoed over the airport noise. I calmly ended the call. The rest of the bus ride was, of course, spent filling Mary in on all the details. At this point, Kevin's cheating wasn't just a suspicion. It was confirmed, with the mistress name and all. When I explained how Kevin had lied about being a devoted son while sneaking off to Hawaii with his affair partner, Mary's expression turned from blank to furious. Then, looking on the verge of tears, she apologized to me. I never blamed her for Kevin's actions, but I did regret keeping his lies from her and having to break the truth like this. But, Mary, I have to say, the way you took a bite of that gummy bear, that was iconic. At that, she let out a teary-eyed laugh. The next day, Kevin finally managed to catch a flight home. When he walked into the living room, where Mary and I sat waiting in silence, he immediately launched into a desperate flurry of excuses. But no matter what he said, there was no way he could talk his way out of this. He had lied about his own mother's life to manipulate me. And he had done it right in front of her. How did you ever think a lie that bold would work? You really never imagined that Mary and I might actually talk to each other?
But you and Mom don't get along. I thought you'd be happy if she was out of the picture.
You really don't know a damn thing about me, do you? Even if we did hate each other, you think I'd be happy to hear she was on her deathbed?
I'm sorry.
Kevin shrank back, clutching his head in fear. What a fool. An absolute, irredeemable fool. We never had the kind of feud you imagined between Mary and me in the first place. We just pretended to dislike each other because it was too exhausting dealing with you constantly trying to stir up drama.
Wait, no way. But she's my mother-in-law, and you're the daughter-in-law.
Just because that's what your so-called common sense tells you doesn't mean it applies to us.
That's awful. You two tricked me.
I explained it to you over and over, but you were the one who kept brushing it off, saying, "Spare me the good daughter-in-law act."
Oh, no.
Kevin collapsed to the floor, trembling as I finally let out all my pent-up frustration. I still have plenty to say, but let's continue this conversation properly. I took a deep breath, pulled a business card from my bag, and slapped it onto Kevin's forehead. His fingers trembled as he peeled it off, his face instantly drained of color.
A lawyer?
Divorce proceedings tend to go more smoothly with a third party involved, don't you think?
Divorce?
Oh, and bring Haley along too. If you don't, I might have to pay a little visit to her workplace.
No way. This has to be a joke.
I'm nothing like you, Kevin. I don't lie.
But I was a good husband, a good father. I took the kids on trips, bought them all the hottest toys. I even got you expensive gifts for your birthday and anniversaries. I put you before my mom, and just for one little mistake, you're divorcing me.
Oh my God. How many times do I have to say it? Mary and I never had a problem with each other. I told you I'm allergic to fresh flowers, that I don't like sweets, that the kids wanted to go camping. But you never listened. Instead, you just trusted online reviews and trending articles over your own family. And let's not forget, you never once managed to get my birthday present on time.
No.
This is pointless. I have way too much to say, and it's not getting us anywhere. Anyway, I'm not coming back to this house. You're free to live here with your precious Haley, right, Mary? I turned to Mary. Even though I had just exploded and Kevin was practically cowering on the floor, she had been silently observing. Finally, she let out a small sigh.
Do whatever you want. As for me, I'm just going to pretend I never had a son.
What? Mom?
Kevin looked at Mary in sheer disbelief. But I was the one who couldn't believe it.
How did you ever think using your own mother's life as an excuse to cover up your affair was forgivable? Did you think I wouldn't be hurt by that?
That's not what I...
Did some article on your precious internet tell you that a mother forgives anything her child does? Sorry to disappoint you, but I must be different from the average mother.
Well,
Yesterday, your mother choked on that candy and passed away, all thanks to her ungrateful son.
no. No.
I never want to see your face again.
No.
Kevin let out a wretched cry and curled up on the floor. Seems he finally understood the gravity of what he'd done. But he still hadn't even uttered a single word of apology. I felt not a shred of sympathy for him. You crossed a line no decent person should ever cross. If only you had spent half as much effort actually listening to us instead of obsessively reading internet gossip, maybe things wouldn't have come to this.
I'm sorry.
Ignoring Kevin's groaning, I placed my house keys on the table. Then, supporting Mary by the arm, I turned toward the door. Not even a hint of regret held me back. 3 months later, I was officially divorced from Kevin. I had overwhelming evidence of his infidelity, making it an easy victory. As for Haley, she couldn't run away since she was caught at work. So she surrendered early. Kevin finally got his divorce, but he didn't end up with Haley, not because I interfered, but because Kevin was trying to quit his job. For the days he had pretended to be on business trips, he had actually taken leave by lying to his company, saying his mother was seriously ill or that I was in bad health. Even though they found it a bit suspicious, Kevin, as their manager, had told them, "A company that values family over work will benefit you all in the long run. so his subordinates ended up covering his workload for him. And then came this betrayal. Word quickly reached upper management, and Kevin was demoted. His coworkers' attitudes toward him turned icier than the winds of Siberia, leaving him stuck in a living hell. For someone who loved online gossip so much, he should have known that cheaters, both men and women, have been getting slammed by public opinion lately. But of course, he had only ever absorbed what was convenient for him. And as for Haley, once she realized Kevin, a 52-year-old man, was hinting at wanting to quit his job and freeload off a woman 15 years younger, even her love-struck delusions shattered. Well, at least she paid the settlement money, and she did give me the final push I needed to leave Kevin, so I wasn't about to hound her any further. Of course, with both Haley and I abandoning him, Kevin completely panicked. I had already moved far away, so I was safe. But Mary, who was still at the old family home, had to endure multiple desperate visits from Kevin. Still, she never forgave him. Eventually, Mary's younger daughter and her husband took her in, helping her move to an apartment near their home. Since they lived several states away, Kevin couldn't easily track her down. With nowhere else to turn, he tried pleading with our son and daughter. But after years of his nonsense, they shut him down instantly, saying, "You brought this on yourself. There is no way we're ever living with you again." And that was that. Kevin finally realized he had screwed up, but it was far too late. With no one left to rely on, and unable to quit his miserable job, he was forced to endure his personal hell. This was the fate of a man who blindly chased trends and selfish desires, never once cherishing what actually mattered. 3 years later.
Sarah, look at this. Look how many strawberries they put on top.
Wow, I want one too. Once again, Mary and I were out on our shopping trip, enjoying an extravagant dessert buffet. Technically, since I divorced Kevin, we were no longer in-laws. But after 25 years of fighting the same battle, we had become more like old war comrades. Even at 80, Mary was full of energy. Just last year, she had happily polished off a medium-rare steak during one of our vacation tours. From time to time, I still receive Kevin's desperate messages. "I'm lonely. Isn't it time to come back?" Mary also still received gifts from him, gifts that completely missed her tastes. Every time, we'd show them to each other, laugh in exasperation, and celebrate the stress-free lives we had now.
Oh, Sarah, this store has a limited edition Haribo flavor.
Are you getting some?
Of course.
Make sure to chew it thoroughly.
Yes, yes. We wouldn't want the boy who cried wolf to have his lie come true, right?
We exchanged a mischievous glance and burst into laughter. From Kevin's perspective, this must be a nightmare. He had lived his life clinging to generic, mass-market values, never once forming real personal connections. A truly pitiful man. If only he had actually looked at the people around him. If only he had tried to understand their hearts. Maybe then, his life could have been richer. Smiling at a beaming Mary, I grabbed a pack of Haribo for myself. The limited edition flavor, something I'd never tried before, had a gentle, nostalgic sweetness. Not too overwhelming, just right.